Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
I'll take you for a ride. I'm a garbage truck.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Weisscast. I am your host, Aaron Weiss, along with my co-host.
Bryant Stinson. I don't
That's
know why I
right.
said it like that.
Completely okay.
I don't know why I did that.
Yes, that's right. We're back for a second week in a row. We were not kidding about Weisscast Season 2. We are back with a vengeance, and we are ready to get going with it. But first, before we get into our articles and maybe even our Google Assistant joke, I want to ask, Bryant, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I've been fighting a bit of a cold for the past few days. But other than that, life has been pretty chill. What about yourself? How have you been?
I've been pretty well. The other day, I experienced some of the worst traffic I've ever seen in my life that wasn't on an interstate. See, I take all city streets to work. I never have to get on the interstate, which is amazing. I love it. It's part of the thing I love about my commute. But they've been doing a lot of like utility work recently, and my way to work, it usually takes me 15, maybe 20 minutes, but the other day it took me 35 to get there, and then coming back in the evening, it took me an hour, and I was livid. I just was so frustrated, and then I was that added to it because I'm in grad school, and I knew I had to listen to some lectures, but I didn't realize that they were podcasts, and so I could have been listening to them in the car while I was stuck there. But yeah, I'm pretty good.
Oh, traffic.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's been a pretty chill week. I feel like the weeks are going by super quick now. It seems like yesterday that we were recording the first episode.
Yeah. No, I have this week it's typically for me, the beginning of the week seems like it kind of drags, and then all of a sudden Friday is here. More, and not even just that, but like, where has 2019 gone? This has just been a very...
It's gone the way of the dodo, honestly.
It's just been a very forgettable year. Not even in the case of like nothing of note has happened, but like just in the case of it's just completely flown by. We have very little time left in 2019, which will also mark the end of an entire decade.
Yeah, well, where's this decade gone?
Yeah, I don't
know. Here's to the 20s.
Here's to the 20s. The Roaring 20s Part 2.
You think there will be abolition this time?
I don't feel like I should answer that. I honestly have no response to that.
Honest question.
Fair.
Okay, so from there we're going to go to our joke. So for those who may not know, I actually switched from an Android phone over the summer to an iPhone, and so it's no longer the Google joke, it's the Siri joke. And I am going to attempt to ask Siri, hey Siri, tell me a joke.
Say, that's a nice ham you've got there. It'd be a shame if someone put an S in front of it and an E at the end.
Okay. Wow, Siri. Jeez.
That was so dumb.
Man, that was a solid 2 out of 10.
It really was. Hey, if you just noticed an audio quality change, it's because I realized that all of my audio is going through my webcam at first, and now it's actually going through my Blue Snowball. So we should have better quality this episode. Glad I caught it early, you know?
Does sound a whole lot better.
Thank God. Because I was trying to rack my brain why my audio sounded so off last week. I was like, I had the microphone and you sounded great. Uh, and yeah, I happened to look at my settings and my audio was coming from my cheap $20 webcam. Yeah. So, all right, from there, we're going to go to around the web. We have some articles that we want to talk about. So, if Bryant you want to get us started, I will do our little stupid intro. Time for some news.
So, for those of you who may or may not know, depending on how closely you tie yourself to the world of streaming, whether that be with Twitch or Mixer or YouTube or Facebook or any of the many streaming platforms that are out there, there has been a major shakeup taking place in the world of streaming. Ninja Blevins kind of led this. And by led this, I mean Microsoft, who owns Mixer, gave him a lot of money to leave Twitch. Ninja was one of Twitch's most popular streamers, and he got an early start on PUBG and things like that a couple years back, and has since moved to Fortnite and has become like a mainstay Fortnite streamer. And he has moved over to Mixer since and is exclusively streaming on Mixer now, which is a bit of a blow to Twitch. And if that didn't just make things bad already, Mixer has also snapped up Shroud, who is probably one of the most talented first-person shooter like PC gamers that I have ever seen. He's brilliant when it comes to playing games like PUBG. He played professionally with the esports team Cloud9 on Counter-Strike and or CS:GO, and he has since moved to Mixer as well. This happened a few weeks back, and I think that that completely shook up so many of the current streamers that are on Twitch. And all of this is really interesting because Mixer is a good streaming platform.
Yeah.
Twitch is like the grandfather of streaming platforms. And so Mixer will any platform that wants to gain notoriety when it comes to streaming, they're going to need to kind of punch their way up. And when you're owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft is one of the most affluent companies in the world, you have money to blow. And so the fact that they were able to bring two of Twitch's most popular streamers and take away two of Twitch's most traffic channels off of that are specifically, and I want to preface that are specifically with content creators and not something different, not like an esports thing or something like that, but it's people who are content creators primarily, which make up the bedrock of what Twitch is. To be able to take two of Twitch's most popular content creators and to bring them over to Mixer is really big. And I was kind of thinking about how this is going to shake up streaming, because for a lot of people, and I'm not sure how much you watch streaming, Aaron, because I was interested to see what you would think about this. What do you think about if you are big in watching streams, what do you think about the climate that we're in right now when it comes to streaming and watching streamers, where we're going to have to bounce back and forth between different platforms to watch the people that we like?
So that's a really interesting question, and I don't watch a ton of streaming, I like to support my friend Brex Live every now and again. Uh, Watching his streams, he's pretty entertaining. But I don't really watch any of the big guys like Ninja or Shroud or Courage. I just don't. I don't know why it never really interested me. And if you think about it, it's not really that much different than watching someone do a Let's Play like Chugga Conroy. It's just live as opposed to pre-recorded.
Right.
So yeah, I used to watch a lot of Let's Plays, and honestly, I think that's more my cup of tea when it comes to watching streamers, is someone who does more of a Let's Play style as opposed to them playing a game like Fortnite or PUBG or Apex or Call of Duty, whatever it is. Like I I did start watching a lot of Call of Duty videos way back in the day when like CNanners and Hutch were starting on YouTube. Um, but I've kind of lost interest in those over time, and but yeah, that's just a long way of saying no, I don't really watch streamers much anymore. But as far as for the platform or for like for the viewers, I think a little um streamer streaming war is kind of healthy. You know, like Twitch was dominant for so long. They um pretty much like were really close to a monopoly with all the platform, like with all the people that they had. Consoles make it really easy to stream on Twitch. Like it's easy to stream from PlayStation and Xbox. You have to jump through a few more hoops to stream from PC. Um, but Microsoft just had the resources to create Mixer, and like it's now really a viable streaming. I would say that with the addition of Shroud and Ninja, they are very much they're much more close to Twitch now. That I'd say Twitch still has a little bit of an edge, but with those two very popular streamers, um, it brings them that much closer. Because I don't think I've really heard of anyone making it huge on Mixer yet. Um, I'm interested to see that, and I think this is really an interesting move because I remember seeing this article and thinking, you know, I kind of took a stab at streaming earlier this year and started on Mixer, and people asked me why I was on Mixer, and my thought process was, well, no one's really on Mixer, so I can just kind of have fun, and if I make it, I make it, and if I don't, I don't. That's fine. But I was eventually uh, convinced to switch to Twitch, and kind of stopped streaming after a while just because I don't have the best internet. And yeah, I think that this is healthy. I don't think YouTube Live really has anyone huge yet, or they just got one person. They got one person.
Courage.
They just got Courage. But I don't think that anyone's made it big because of YouTube Live yet. People have made it big, obviously, just uploading videos to YouTube. But typically, the gamers that I follow on YouTube will tweet or will post a video saying, "Hey, I'm about to start on Twitch. Go over to Twitch." And I think YouTube has finally caught wind of that, and they're trying to entice more of those big streamers to come over, like Courage, and Courage just happened to be the first one.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of like, of course, when I first saw Ninja move over to Mixer, I was like, okay, what about? I had to look up kind of pros and cons between the two, and Mixer is actually a really, really good streaming platform when it comes to community development for the streamer and a stream interaction. The latency on Mixer is actually significantly lower than it is on Twitch.
It is.
So when a comment comes into your chat on Mixer, it almost comes in real time. Where Twitch, there's a delay between what you see the streamer doing versus what they're actually doing. And with Mixer, you're almost seeing the streamer do what they're actually doing on their end because the latency is so low. There's also a thing where you can, and I don't even know the name of the currency off the top of my head, but you gain this currency by watching streams, by streaming yourself. And it's kind of like, so they essentially turn the streaming experience, even as a viewer, into kind of like a game, and you level up, and by leveling up, you gain certain amenities that you can then use, and then you can take that currency and give it to streamers, and that will equal out to a certain dollar amount depending on how much you give them. So it's a really easy way for people to donate without breaking their own banks, which is something that Twitch struggles with. There are a lot of people who want to donate to streamers and will donate to streamers, but sometimes they don't have the means to do so. That's not necessarily Twitch's fault, but Twitch didn't necessarily make it easy for people to feel like they can help out their favorite streamers. Whereas on Mixer, it's not a problem. You don't have to spend a dime to give to aid a streamer in making money. You just have to watch their streams or watch streams in general. I saw a really interesting tweet the other day. Last week I talked about how I've been playing a lot of PUBG lately on console. I'm still playing quite a bit of PUBG. And so naturally, I watch a lot of, when I do watch streamers, I will watch them play PUBG. I watch people who play PUBG more often than not. And there is a European streamer. He is a professional player. And for the PUBG esports team Ghost Gaming, his name is Drassel. And he sent out a really interesting tweet the other day in regards to all of the shakeups that have been happening on the platforms. And this is what he said. He said, so it's going to suck to have to bounce between Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube. I would also put Facebook in there because some people stream on Facebook as well, to watch your favorite streamers. But they are being given insane opportunities. And then he spelled opportunities with $ at the end. That's the only reason they moved.
Yeah.
And he said, this will be interesting to follow. But here's the really interesting bit. He said, this is a reminder to make sure that you are tied to your community and not your platform. And there's some really interesting tidbits when it comes to Twitch. So if you stream enough on Twitch to the point where you become a Twitch partner, you, in Twitch's terms of service, you can only stream on Twitch. You cannot stream anywhere else. You can't use any third-party applications that will simultaneously simulcast your stream on Twitch and YouTube to Twitch and Facebook. You can't do any of that. If you do that, they will strip your partnership from you. And I think that other platforms don't have that strict exclusivity within their terms of service. So there's been a lot of movement away from Twitch. There is an entire PUBG esports team that no longer streams on Twitch. They stream on the Chinese streaming service Huya, and Huya allows them to simulcast to any platform they want, including Twitch. So there's basically, so like Twitch, because they've almost, just like you said earlier, they've almost monopolized streaming up to this point. They've almost put themselves in a corner to where they're almost too strict on their streamers of what they allow them to do and not to do. And it's really interesting to see some of the bigger people say, well, we have all of these things that are expected of us. And we're also not making necessarily as much as we probably could be. So people will double up as streamers and content creators on YouTube, which basically just means that they just upload their Twitch VODs to YouTube and people watch them. But it's really interesting to see now the movement that's away from Twitch. I think Twitch will survive this, but I think this would be a really good opportunity for people to kind of get in the game on Twitch now. Now, I mean, there's viewership that's up for grabs, so it'll be really interesting to see kind of who rises to prominence with all of these streaming wars that are going on.
Yeah. From there, let's go to the next article, which this one, This one's made a lot of people very uneasy, and rightfully so. So recently, within the last few months, Blizzard banned someone for using Hearthstone. And what were they streaming on? Were they streaming on Twitch or something?
It had to have been Twitch. I would
Yeah,
imagine. If it's esports, it's probably Twitch.
yeah. They use their platform, their game Hearthstone, to make a statement for the Hong Kong protests. Kind of like it was a political statement in support of the protesters, and Blizzard did not think that using their game was good to make this statement, and so they banned this individual or streaming. Is it an individual or a team? I don't completely know. They got banned from Hearthstone. Anyways,
It was an individual. It was
yes.
one player.
This individual got banned from Hearthstone, which is the Blizzard card game. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And they haven't been back since. A lot of people were outraged because there really was, or really is, continuing to be, not because it's not in the, not because what am I trying to say? There is continued injustice in Hong Kong. Just because we don't see it every day in our news doesn't mean it's not happening.
Right.
And see a lot of protests happening still there. And recently, Blizzard gave a real half-assed apology that wasn't even really an apology. They had BlizzCon recently, and I think it was the CEO of Blizzard was on stage, and he kind of just danced around the topic and didn't really address it, and that made people more. Two things came from that. One, it made people more mad. Two, people kind of just forgot that this whole thing happened because they saw shiny new Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 and an update to World of Warcraft and all this stuff. They saw all the stuff that was shiny and new from Blizzard, and they kind of just was like, "Oh, I forgive you, Blizzard. Whatever, blah blah." But I think I'm more with the people on the other side. They're like, "Hey, that's not cool. You addressed it, but you didn't say anything, and you're not letting him back on," which is just ridiculous. I know there is a time and place probably for political statements, and if this person only had that platform to make a political statement to get out there, I think they were in the right. I don't think that, I mean, it's not like they cheated or anything, you know? It's not like they were I don't even know if you can make money betting on Hearthstone. It's not like they were doing that. Those are viable reasons to get banned, not making a statement for your home and wanting to get the word out. I think Blizzard is. I wish I could say that I didn't support Blizzard monetarily, but then again, I kind of just bought Call of Duty, who is Activision / Blizzard. So, yeah, it's really tough to hear because I think that Blizzard, if they weren't entangled with Activision, they would probably reinstate them. At least I like to think that. But I was wondering what your thoughts were on the whole situation.
Yeah, sounds a whole lot like Blizzard / Activision is just trying to tell this guy to shut up and play cards, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I understand Blizzard's willingness to protect themselves. and to not get pulled into an incredibly volatile situation like what's going on between Hong Kong and China right now. Like I understand them not wanting to get pulled into that. But you're not fooling anybody by saying, oh, well, we banned the individual, but it had nothing to do with the content of his message. Well, then why did you ban him?
Mm-hmm.
You can't, you know, if you're going to get on stage and say, the reason that we have banned him has nothing to do with what he actually said, then you're just banning people to ban people. You're banning somebody for taking an opportunity to stand up and say something, which I think is worse. Or don't get up and take this opportunity to say something, period. Like the content's whatever. Just don't take this as an opportunity to get on a soapbox. We don't do soapboxes at Blizzard, right? We don't do soapboxes. And so, but I do understand because there's just so much going on in Hong Kong right now with the protesters, and there's just it's just a very messy and volatile situation, as I said earlier. But I also I'm all for where we are right now, where whether that's professional athletes or these are esports gamers. They are more than just the thing that they are best at. Like professional athletes, unless you're Antonio Brown, you should probably go get some counseling. But like professional athletes who use their platform to stand up for what is right, they are more than just people who play football or basketball or baseball. They're more than just those. They're more than just shooting a ball or throwing a ball or catching a ball or hitting a ball. They're human beings who live in the same world that we do. They just live in it in a different realm of control than the rest of us. And esports gamers, people watch them because they're fascinated by how good they are at what they do. But they're more than just Hearthstone players. They're more than just Counter-Strike players. They are people who are affected by the things that go on in our world. And I think that it's completely unfair for anybody to expect these people to just stay in their lane and not ever talk about these things, because everybody has a threshold of how much that they can take and how much that they can see before it affects them, and they need to release that tension that builds up inside of them. And I feel like sometimes in instances like this, these big companies, these huge like conglomerates, don't treat people as if they're actual people. They kind of see them as just robots, as a means to continue to promote our brand, as a means to bring popularity and viewership to the content that we give to people. And in a sense, you're just using them to get the word out there. And that just doesn't work, you know, that really just doesn't work that much. So I don't know. I understand Blizzard's desire to kind of keep things confined, but if that's your home and there is significant amounts of injustice and just a lot of difficulty that are going on, and even the article the article has no clue to what extent this Hearthstone player is being affected by all of what's taking place, right? It has, you know, he could know people who are actively protesting,
right?
You know? And which ties him closer to what is going on than anybody at Blizzard could ever be. And so naturally, if you can give him an opportunity to speak, he's going to take that because he's more than just a Hearthstone player. You know? Yeah, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
It really is. Especially like we were saying, like you were saying, the Blizzard is not like, I mean, geography, yes, they are kind of close to Hong Kong, but like as far as like emotionally invested and all that stuff, they are not by any means, and I doubt that they are financially invested or like anything like having to do with Hong Kong. I think they were kind of just banning to ban. In this case, not all press is good press. Um, yeah, they just look really bad, and they look like an evil corporation right now. Until I doubt that this person would even necessarily want to come back if invited. Might have already moved on to another e-card game. I don't know, like Gwent or something. I don't know.
I mean, Blizzard is one of the bad guys of. I mean, they're tied to Activision, but when people think about like the bad companies of video games, they think about EA, Activision, and Blizzard. They think about those three are like the main culprits of just people's angst when it comes to just video game nonsense. So
yeah, and it's annoying, but hopefully that the story kind of continues developing, and we'll see some kind of happy resolution eventually. But I think there's all we can do is sit back and watch, and I don't know if asking people to, or I don't know if I was gonna say asking people to protest Blizzard. That's not a thing, because like you like games that you like. I mean, a lot of people don't like Chick-fil-A's stance on things, but they still eat their chicken. Like,
you hear that, Popeyes? We still like Chick-fil-A.
It's so true, but Popeyes is good too.
That's true.
Yeah, so like a lot of companies just have terrible stances sometimes, but you like their products, and you try to protest them for a little bit, but then you end up going back anyways. I think that is as good a transition as any to Disney Plus. Speaking of not liking companies,
the ultimate bad guys.
Yeah, they really are the ultimate bad guys. Bryant, you and I are actually about to be on a family plan for Disney Plus, along with my brother and Caleb Peeler. And we're pretty excited about it. We both have a list of things that are coming to Disney Plus at launch. And I think this list is huge, so this is going to be really difficult. I think we should each pick. I was going to say 5, but it might have to be 3.
3 works.
We'll pick the 3 biggest things, and I know you and I are both excited about one thing in particular, so we can both share that one thing, but then we can pick 3 others besides that each. Okay. So if you want to start, we'll end with the thing that we're both excited about.
Okay. All right. So for me, I think one of the things that I am most excited about. So Disney Plus has a lot of original content coming.
Right.
I think all of which will be exciting when it shows up. The 2 big things that I am excited about right now, they aren't necessarily individual things. I'm actually really excited to be able to watch a lot of the older animated movies that Disney have produced that I've actually never seen. There are a lot of Disney movies that I've never seen. It's like I've never seen. So things like Peter Pan, Snow White. I've never seen those. Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. I've actually never seen those before. I got into, like, when it came to Disney, I got involved in watching Disney stuff, watching their original movies on the Disney Channel a lot earlier, before I started watching a lot of their older kind of animated movies. My family loves the older animated movies, but I've never really gotten an opportunity to watch those. So I'm really excited to watch those. And then in addition to that, I'm really excited to get an opportunity to see more of the Disney Channel original movies, like for nostalgia purposes, that I grew up on really liking. things like Johnny Tsunami and Brink and things like that. Like I'm really excited to be able to kind of watch both of those again.
Yeah, I'm also really excited about a lot of the older stuff that has kind of been lost to time before now. I mean, Disney's kind of notorious for doing short run DVD releases and then putting them in their vault. I'm putting vault in air quotes. It's actually an ingenious marketing thing to just kind of build hype, sell a lot of things, and then take it off the market for a little bit, because they know that if it stayed on the market, they would have to continue producing it and spend a lot more money, as opposed to doing a limited like 3-month run, taking it off the market for a year or two, and then putting it back on the market in like a different package. So a lot of these things we haven't seen like in Walmarts and Best Buys in a really long time. Like you were saying, all of the Disney Channel original movies we haven't really seen. I'm particularly excited about a movie called Jumping Ship.
Oh, Jumping Ship.
It's so dumb, but it's so good.
I feel like that's how you can explain most Disney Channel original movies. They're so dumb, but they're so good.
Smart House, I'm excited about. Oh, I forgot about Smart Guy. That's just an original series.
Yeah. All the Maori kids.
Yes, and I'm really excited for all these things to be in one place. I think the old thing that I might be most excited about is let's see if is shows like Timon and Pumbaa, Tailspin, Chip and Dale the Rescue Rangers. Like I loved those shows as a kid, and they just haven't been anywhere in a really long time. I haven't seen those shows in over 15 years, and I grew up on them. And so I'm really excited to see these back in one place.
Man, but I think the real reason that both of us are so excited about Disney, about Disney Plus, has to be the Star Wars content.
Oh yeah.
Specifically The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited about The Mandalorian. I love everything that I've seen about The Mandalorian so far. I've just been blown away by, Star Wars in general, for me, I love the concept of what Star Wars is, but I also love the way that the concept plays itself out in its art style.
Yes.
The world is futuristic, but it's very lived in and grimy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that some people had a lot of criticisms for, the prequels, episodes 1, 2, and 3, because they felt like a lot of that kind of lived in and practical, the lived in and practical aspects of the art of Star Wars was kind of lost to CGI to a degree. Not totally. There's still practical things and a mix of the practical and the CGI that take place in the prequels, but for the most part, it's not as lived in, and it doesn't have that lived in look and feel. But The Mandalorian, I don't know if you've seen any of the trailers or the looks or things like that. Any of the pictures, but it just looks absolutely fantastic. And
yeah.
And Bill Burr's in it. I love Bill Burr. Watching Bill Burr, dual wheel pistols, got a little pistol on his back. I'm excited. I can't even form sentences. I'm so excited about The Mandalorian.
I'm really excited too. The way I've heard about this is like, from what I've seen and what I've heard, it's like this show is as big of a budget as it gets for a TV show. It literally looks like a Star Wars movie as terms of quality. And you don't really see that in many TV shows outside of like Game of Thrones had that quality. You can't really say that Breaking Bad did, because there wasn't that much to put in terms of like just quality graphics and stuff. like as far as like high production, this is as big budget as it gets. And I think that it's going to be incredible. I was a little skeptical at first whenever it was initially announced. Mainly because I wasn't sure how they were going to do a live action Star Wars TV show and keep it to the same standard as their movies, visually speaking. I think that this has potential to be one of, if not the best stories to come from Star Wars since Disney acquired it way back when. What was it, like 6 years ago?
I think that's right, 6 years.
Yeah. Like, it seems like every other Star Wars, like, I think you and I can both agree that the one-off Star Wars movies, Solo and Rogue One, have been their better things. Like, just they're more consistent than the movies. I think they all look visually great.
Yeah.
Just for whatever reason, in the mainline Star Wars movies, the story isn't consistent, and I think that's because they changed directors. It looked like they were going one way with The Force Awakens, and then they completely took it a different direction with The Last Jedi for seemingly no reason.
I'm in the I like The Last Jedi camp. I like the direction of The Last Jedi, but yes, I can understand. Yeah, I agree. It has kind of laid the slate clean for Rise of Skywalker in December, which I think is a good thing. You don't want all of your movies to have the same tropes.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with that. I just kind of err on the more don't like it as much as Force Awakens, but I love Rogue One. I love Solo. So that's what
different about Solo. I really like Rogue One. Solo was kind of I don't think any of them are bad. I know some people are like Force Awakens good, Solo bad, Rogue One good, Last Jedi awful. Like I think all of them are good. But I personally, just who I am, I try to look for the positives in things because I think it's more fun to like things than to dislike things. So, but I do understand the criticism. And things. But yeah, I think their Solo stuff has been more consistent than their series.
And that's all I'm trying to say. I really think that that's why The Mandalorian has so much potential to be great, is like it's completely original as opposed to trying to continue from a story that already existed. And I think that's when Disney has shined most with their Star Wars stuff. And yeah, like you said, Bill Burr dual wielding pistols.
Got a little pistol on his back.
Homeboy's a little bounty hunter in all himself. I'm really excited to see. It's weekly release, right? Yeah,
so that's the other thing about Disney Plus. That Disney Plus is going to be like Netflix in that they are producing the entirety of a series together, but they are unlike Netflix in that they will only release episodes on a weekly basis. So if you want to watch all of The Mandalorian on November 12th, you can't. You can only watch episode 1. You can only watch episode 1. I don't even know how many episodes are in season 1.
I think it's 10.
Is it just 10? Okay.
I think. I could be wrong. But yeah, I think I like this model. I don't remember when you and I were talking about it. It might have been last week, or I don't even know if it was you and I. But we were talking about weekly releases versus binging, and the weekly releases give you something to talk about every week. That's why like Game of Thrones was so popular, and like TV shows before were like really cool. It was like water cooler. It was just instant water cooler talk. You didn't have to worry about being ahead or behind necessarily. If you kept up with a show just once a week, just gave that show an hour every week, you could go to work and be like, oh my gosh, did you see last night's episode? Yep. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's so good. Or as opposed to with what Netflix has brought in the last few years, like, are you done with season 3 yet? Oh my gosh, it's so good. Like, I watched it all over the weekend. I spent, 12 hours this weekend just watching the whole show because I couldn't do anything else. Yeah, I had to give my kid a bath. Yeah, I had to mow the lawn, but no, I watched the show the whole weekend. And honestly, I'm guilty of binging a complete show,
Same.
or
Not
a
proud of
complete
it.
complete
Same.
season. I did it with BoJack Horseman whenever it came out a couple weeks ago. Um, but yeah, I like this. Hulu's been doing this for a while with Handmaid's Tale and other shows. And of course, Hulu is Disney. Wah wah wah.
Sorry, Netflix.
Yeah. I just don't see this being a bad thing. I think people are going to be kind of initially annoyed, but then they're going to be like, "Oh, this is what it's like having time not watching TV again. Like, this is what it was like before Netflix started streaming."
It also prevents people from a financial standpoint on Disney's end, it also prevents people from getting Disney Plus, binging all of the Mandalorian because that's all they want to see, and then canceling Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Until they come out with season 2.
Yeah.
You have to at least be in it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 10 episodes, you have to at least be in it for 2 months to
Yep.
see all of it. So that's 2 months worth of money coming into the old piggy bank, I guess the mousy bank. I don't know what Disney would call it.
It's Scrooge McDuck's bank.
Scrooge McDuck's bank. Wait, does he even need any more money?
No, but neither does Disney. So
That is true. Like Netflix, I think Netflix has so many problems with like releasing everything at once. People will just get it, they'll binge it, and then they'll just cancel Netflix. Like, I'm just getting it to watch this. I'm just getting it to watch Umbrella Academy, and I'm gonna binge Umbrella Academy, and then I'm gonna cancel Netflix. And then when season 2 comes out, I will then get Netflix again, and then binge season 2, and then cancel it again. With Disney Plus, they're preventing that from being the case. So smart.
wicked smart. Yeah, so I think this talk about Disney Plus and being excited about it is a pretty good natural transition into our weekly monologues, just like things that have been interesting us this week, whether it's TV shows, video games, movies, comics, sports, a different article that we might not have mentioned earlier, whatever, tech. So if you want to get us started, by all means, sir. If you don't, I can do it.
Yeah, I can.
All right.
Can we talk about the BCS rankings?
I'm sorry, the college football?
Yeah,
playoff
the
rankings?
college football playoff rankings.
Because BCS doesn't exist anymore.
That's true. You're right. I don't know why I said BCS. It's football playoff rankings. Okay. I'm pissed off because Ohio State is ranked number 1. And I'm pissed off because Ohio State's ranked number 1. And because Clemson is not even in the top 4. They're the national champions.
So?
Seeming undefeated.
Who have they played?
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Who have Ohio State played?
All right, they've beat 2 top 25 teams soundly.
That in previous seasons has gotten Ohio State literally nothing.
Yeah,
except almost there. They should not go from like being the only person by themselves during the slow dance for multiple years to getting up to number 1. I don't think that they deserve to be number 1 over LSU or Alabama right now. Given what LSU and Alabama may be, because Alabama has not played a whole lot of people yet. LSU played Florida when they were in the top 5.
I would agree with the LSU thing, and that's hard for me to say as an Ohio State fan. But here's my spiel. I think the reason that they gave Ohio State number 1 over LSU is because LSU does not have that signature win yet, and it could be the case. It could be the case.
They beat a top 5 team
by a touchdown.
Oh, They beat them. It's a top 5 team. You can't
by a
expect them to
touchdown.
blow them out.
By 1 touchdown. Ohio State, when they were not ranked in the top 5, or I think they might have been number 5, they beat a team that was number 13 by 4 touchdowns.
They did do that, yes.
That is a signature win. The only reason LSU is not ranked higher above them is because they did not beat a team by more than a touchdown that they were supposed to beat. They beat Auburn by a field goal, or a touchdown. They beat Florida by a touchdown. I think if LSU wins it's this weekend, right?
It's this weekend. It's the biggest LSU Alabama game in history.
If LSU wins this weekend, by no doubt will they be number 1 after the weekend. Because Ohio State is playing Maryland, and they're probably going to blow out Maryland, even with this whole Chase Young crap that's happening right now. Yep. And the game's at Alabama, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no way LSU is going to win.
Nope. It will be a great game. It's going to be a great game. Like, it's going to be close, but I don't think LSU is going to have the ability to beat Alabama on the road.
My coworker and I were talking, and pretty much everyone that I've talked to agrees that there is likely. Oh my gosh, why could I hear myself right now?
I mean, you're not coming through double.
Anyways, there is likely not going to be any undefeated teams in the top 4 at the end of the year. And if there are, the most likely candidate to be will be Ohio State, I think.
Who does Ohio State? Do they have to play Penn State?
Yes.
They have to play Penn State and Michigan before the season's over.
Exactly. And both of those games are definitely going to be, 3 to 7 point games. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to be a high margin of victory, I don't think. Unless
Ohio State beats Michigan by 30 again, like they did last year, which is so freaking. I can't talk about it.
I think, if I'm trying to think what has to happen. If Alabama beats LSU, but then they have the potential, they always have the potential to lose to Auburn, then LSU will represent the West in the SEC championship. I think Georgia has the potential to beat LSU, especially because they just their victory was way bigger than 7 points last week. Like, it should have been way farther ahead than 7 points over Florida. Whereas LSU kind of struggled a little bit against Florida. I think that there was going to be no undefeated teams. Like, honestly, I could see either Penn State or Michigan beating Ohio State by like a field goal. Especially with all this Chase Young stuff happening. It's distracting. And the only reason it's happening right now is because apparently he was offered a cheeseburger. Real stupid stuff. Especially after this whole thing the other day of when the entire NCAA they gathered at Emory University, all the bigwigs, and talked about pay for play and passed it. And
wow.
It passed, but it's not in effect till like 2023. So like this shouldn't even be a thing. It's just a big distraction.
Yeah.
He's out for the Maryland game, but whatever.
I mean, like, credit to Ohio State, because I think that Ohio State over the past few seasons, they have shown the capabilities of them they've shown their capabilities, and like they put their credentials out there for them to be a playoff team. Mm-hmm. And I know that there have been some instances where they haven't made it, and I think that they just haven't made it because I think that there's been too much. I think the idea of a notable win in the eyes of the panel that makes these decisions has been like only teams within the top 10. Mm-hmm. And maybe they're extending that now to like, well, if you beat a ranked team soundly, period, that's a big deal. Opposed to Ohio State has been doing that for seasons. But they've been doing that for seasons, but because they would beat a team that say like 13th or 14th or 17th or something like that, they wouldn't. They would be like, oh well, I mean, it's a 17th ranked team. That's unconsequential compared to teams in the top 10. I think that when you continue along that vein and you continue to allow teams like the Notre Dames who just get squashed, because they don't play anybody of note. Maybe they'll play like one ranked team, things like that. I think you want to try to find a way to balance out the field. I will say that obviously I'm a Michigan fan. I love Michigan, and I don't like the fact that Ohio State is ranked number 1. That's the main reason I'm upset. I'll be honest. I'm just salty, and I can admit that. However, the fact that there are two Big Ten teams in the top 4 right now is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, because previously, Big Ten teams could only hope to maybe sneak into the 4th spot.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's multiple teams trying to sneak into that last position, but you have 1 at 1 and 1 at 4 right now, and the 2 SEC teams are sandwiched in between them. So, I love the fact that, and then Clemson's still in the running. Georgia has an SEC championship game to play. They just got to make sure they do the business come the end of the season. They got to make sure they get past Auburn, get past Georgia Tech, and get into the SEC championship unscathed. They've already lost once, but if they can get to the SEC championship game unscathed and win that game, they're right back in it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of twists and turns still to come. So I'm pleased with kind of the balance that we're seeing with the rankings right now. I just wish Ohio State wasn't number 1. And Michigan's not going to beat them either. Michigan hasn't beat them in like 8 years. so that's not going to happen.
Just all right, real quick on the top 4. It kind of shows the 2 best divisions in all of NCAA football right now. I think that the Big Ten East and the SEC West are the 2 best divisions in all of football right now. They both have 2 representatives each. They have very viable third options. I think Michigan State has just hit a lot of unlucky stuff this year with injuries and stuff like that. I think that they could be a pretty viable option for the top 25 if they did not hit all this stuff. And usually, I don't know what the deal. Oh, actually, I know exactly what the deal with Auburn is right now. They are very much in the most difficult division. They have to play LSU and Alabama every year, and they have to play Georgia every year because the rivalry, and so every year they are guaranteed at least, I'll just say minimum 3 top 15 games. Let's just say that they're all going to be in the top 15. And depending on the year, those could be 3 wins or 1 and 2 or 2 and 1 or 3 losses, whatever. And I think Auburn and Michigan are very comparable in that. They both look very good, but they're just in very tough divisions, and have other really good teams that they have to play every year. And I think, like you were saying, that it's amazing that the top 4 is just essentially 2 divisions from 2 different conferences. I personally, as a fan of football, putting football above conference, I wish that there was a team representing each of the Power 5 in the top 5. But I know that's not a thing that I know that's not how it works. I wish it's how it works, but it's not. But I really would like to see more play between the Big Ten East and the SEC West, the 2 best divisions in all of football.
I agree.
Because, all right, I already said Michigan and Auburn are very comparable. I think Penn State and LSU are kind of comparable, and I think Ohio State and Alabama are kind of comparable. I think that those would be 3 incredible games, and if the college football playoff ever wanted to go to a top 6, I think those would be incredible matchups. Granted, it kind of directly contradicts whatever I just said about seeing all of the Power Five. But this is my fantasy, not yours. Get out.
All right. Enough about the playoffs that
Okay.
just irked me. What about what's been on your mind lately?
So I began to touch on this a little bit last week, but it's been really true. Luigi's Mansion 3 has gotten me back into games. It's pulled me from the grave, kind of metaphorically speaking. I have times of my life when I'm super into games and when I'm not very much into games. And before Luigi's Mansion 3, I was not very much into games. But since then, I've been playing a lot of that. I went back and played some PUBG after our conversation last week. Yes. I have a lot of thoughts on that. I actually played 1 or 2 rounds of Apex, and I like the new map there. But I've been playing a lot more Battlefield. I played a little bit of Call of Duty. And I actually want to mention something about Call of Duty real quick. I was playing with Jacob and Justin the other day, and we had this really weird party issue where I was the party leader and we were playing on their equivalent of Conquest. I don't remember what it's called. And we played one game fine.
The Ground War?
Yes, Ground War. We were playing Ground War. We played one game fine. And then for whatever reason, I got into the next game, but they weren't in my party with me. And so that kind of annoyed us, and we stopped playing Call of Duty and just switched to Battlefield. And so I want to know, have you had any party issues with Call of Duty? Have you played in parties much? Yeah.
I have played in parties, but I haven't had any party issues. I wonder if that is a Ground War problem. Because all of that, I have yet to play Ground War. And the reason I haven't played Ground War yet is because I've just heard bad things about it.
It's not super fun. It's kind of trying it. Well, not kind of. It is trying to be Battlefield, and I think that the high pace nature of Call of Duty doesn't translate well to that game mode. So I think from now on we'll probably just play gun game or some classic deathmatch or whatever. I really like search and destroy or capture the flag. Those are more suited for Call of Duty gameplay, whereas Battlefield is really more suited to Conquest and games like Conquest. So I said I've been playing PUBG and I have some thoughts. Here are my thoughts. In PUBG, I love all of the updates almost. I love how good graphically it looks now. I love how it runs. But I'm not sure, and maybe you can answer this. I can't change the map, and is it because of my rank? Do you get to change your map when you rank up?
No. So PUBG has been experimenting with matchmaking queue times. They're basically trying to find a way to get queue times comparable for third person perspective and first person perspective.
Okay.
So at one point, they had an instance where there was a featured map. Depending on the certain update, the featured map would be one of Erangel, Sanhok, Miramar, or Vikendi, depending on where they were. And so they put the feature map alone, and then the rest in a queue together. They've since taken the featured map option out, and in addition to the featured map option, they also had a quick join option. So all of the maps would be put in a queue, and whichever match you could get into the fastest, they would just put you on a map. Didn't matter which one it was. So they had. So you think about all of the different types of queues they had for third-person perspective and first-person perspective together. There were a total of 6 different matchmaking queues, and you have the entire pool of players that are all currently logged on to PUBG, searching in 6 different queues at one time. So naturally, matchmaking times would take longer depending on what you're looking for. So what PUBG decided to do was to eliminate the quick join option and to eliminate the featured map option and just put every map together in a queue.
Okay.
And so you pick your game type, whether it's solo, duo, squad, whatever number of squads you go with, and you just match make, and it puts you on a map. And so you can't choose what map you want to play on now. You're at the mercy of PUBG choosing for you, which kind of harkens back to the early days before they came out with featured maps.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do know that's kind of frustrating because some people prefer some maps to others, and sometimes you can get locked into playing Miramar all the time or playing Vikendi all the time, right? And sometimes people just want variety. And while they are still trying to figure out what's the best direction to go with matchmaking, I give a whole lot of credit to PUBG for continuing to try to improve the quality of the game for the people who are playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Since you've played, I don't know if you've noticed, but even in the title screen, they've been bought out by Craft Union Company,
Mm-hmm.
which has given them more ability to do things. They've hired community managers for all platforms, for PC and console. And those community managers' jobs is to find out what the community thinks, what they like, what they dislike, and to try to find ways to relay that information back to the devs so that they can try to implement those things into the game. And so right now the current season is Miramar focused. So there's a lot of Miramar related things that are in game. But I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see some differences when it comes to matchmaking, because ultimately all PUBG wants is for people to be able to play games quickly, because that's the point of a battle royale. You don't want to sit in between games. You want to play a game, and then when you're out, you're out. And you want to get back into the next one. So we'll kind of see how things go from there. But I hope that hasn't been super frustrating for you, though.
All right, here's the only thing that has been frustrating, and it's not. I did not have any problems with Q when I was on cross-platform. I was getting into games super quick, within a minute or so, and when I turned off cross-platform, I was having ridiculous wait times to the point where I didn't even want to play anymore. And I think it's just it's not fun because, like, either instance, like, I guess you're getting better if you're playing people that are on different platforms.
You're only playing people on PlayStation. That's it.
Really?
Yeah. So it's just Xbox. They would never do PC. They would never do PC between. It's just Xbox and PlayStation. But the PlayStation community is only about 15% of the matchmaking of PUBG at the moment. The PlayStation community has not taken to PUBG as much yet.
Okay.
So when it's cross-platform, it's just so basically if you look in the feed, if you have the graphic feed on, it will have an Xbox symbol next to the people who are playing on Xbox, and a controller symbol next to the people who are PlayStation players, and those are the only people that you're playing against. It's all console.
Okay, that helps because I thought we were playing against PC people, and I guess can you use mouse and keyboard on Xbox now for PUBG?
No.
Okay.
Well, you probably can. You probably can use it, and there's probably not going to be anything done to you about it. But like, you're not supposed to.
Okay. Well, good. I'm gonna turn back on cross-platform because I don't know. I think I was just more rusty than I thought. I thought I was getting wrecked because I was getting killed by PC people, but I'm just like more rusty than I thought. I think that is as good a time as any to go to our last segment because we are way over this time.
We are way over time.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's not.
It's our thing. We do it for us, not for the listeners. Let's just do a quick 20 questions. Let's see if I can get it really quick. Do you have a thing in mind that I can guess?
I do. I've been thinking about this all week.
What's the category?
The category is a movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. right in your wheelhouse. So let's see how this goes.
All right. Was this movie released after January 1st, 2010?
No.
Was this movie released after January 1st, 2000?
Yes.
All right, so it's a movie in the aughts. Is this an animated film?
No.
Is this a action film?
No.
Comedy?
Yes.
Okay. Was this movie released before January 1st, 2005?
Yes.
Okay. Does this movie have a white male lead?
No.
Interesting. Is this a stoner comedy?
No. That's question 8, by the way.
Yeah, I'm also keeping track.
Okay. Cool.
Does this movie have a black male lead?
No.
Does this movie have a female lead?
Yes.
Comedy movie from between 2000 and 2005 that has a female lead.
Mm-hmm. I give you a hint at 15.
Right. Does this movie star Anna Faris?
No.
Wow. Does this movie star Reese Witherspoon?
No.
Is the lead actress blonde?
No.
All right, cool. Stop guessing blonde actresses then.
Yeah.
Is there a romantic subplot to this movie?
There is.
Okay.
I think it's 15, right?
That's 14.
14, okay.
Got one more. Does this movie take place in a major city?
Yes.
Terrible question, but I just needed to get the hint.
All right. The hint is this movie has a very notable cameo.
Oh my god.
And when I say notable, I mean the individual.
Right.
You know who this is.
Is this cameo Bill Murray?
No. Are you just gonna try to nail the cameo now? You got 4 tries.
I know. Well, 3 and a guess.
3 and a guess. Yeah, 3 and a guess.
Would you classify this movie as a rom-com?
I would.
Okay. Is this also a holiday movie?
No.
It's not Love Actually.
It's not Love Actually.
It also doesn't necessarily have a lead. It's just weird like that. Is the main character depicted in like younger, like between late 20s, early 30s?
No. Jason is the main character in that age range?
Yeah.
No.
probably older then if it's a rom-com.
Is it?
I don't understand why the character would be younger. I have to guess the movie. I have no idea. I don't even know rom-coms from. Is it 13 going on 30?
It is not. It is not.
What is it?
You ready?
Yeah.
From 2002, the British romantic comedy sports film Bend It Like Beckham.
Oh my gosh.
The lead is Indian.
Yep.
With a notable cameo from David Beckham. Also, Keira Knightley's in this film.
Yep. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about it.
She's 18 in the film. So your guess of between 20 and 30 was just too high.
Yep.
If you would have I feel like I could have given you if I would have said it's a sports film, you probably would have gotten it. Or if I would have said the film was British, you probably would have gotten it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes me sad. So, okay. From there, I guess we got to go to the outro. I lost, so I guess I owe Bryant a Frosty. Yep. Well, no. Yeah, we are 1-1. So we'll keep tally as the season goes on. You know what? Right here, right now, we need to have an odd number of episodes so there can be a clear-cut winner.
Okay.
Of the 20 questions, and there needs to be a grand prize. Should that grand prize be like buy each other Chick-fil-A or something like that, like a whole meal?
I think we can do that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can do that.
I am looking forward to eating Chick-fil-A on your dime come the end of the season.
Not if you guess like you did today.
All right.
Hey, I had to get you back for James and the Giant Peach.
That's true.
I was never going to get that.
That's true. That's true. All right. Yeah, I was really stuck on the rom-com part. From there, I'm Aaron Weiss, your host. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Weiss is right, if I can say my handle correctly. You can also find us on Weisscast.com or patreon.com/Weisscast. We have recorded a little bit of pre-show today, and I think we're going to start uploading to Patreon. So if you Patreon users, if you want to see what it's like behind the scenes a little bit, you can give just $1 a month. Gets you this pre-show stuff that we know you crave. Bryant, where can the listeners find you on social medias?
Find me on Twitter at Bryant Stinson, BRYANTSTINSON, and find me on Instagram at BKStinson08. That
is all we have for you this week, folks. I'm not completely sorry that this episode's over an hour and a half, but we will send you out with outro music as usual. This is the Legend of Zelda Trap Remix by Deceived. Find them on Spotify, and from there we are out.
Stay classy.